Hi guys, welcome to the Unpopular Opinion. We are
real,
and we're saying it all.
So welcome back to our channel, guys. And if you are new, welcome for the first time. We're so glad you came to spend some time with us.
Subscribe.
Yes. So I'm Kemi.
I'm Claire.
And Prim.
And we are the Unpopular Opinion. So this is just a space for us to have conversations. You know, like we said, real, raw, just saying what we think, what we know as well. So today's episode is actually something that was suggested by Enyonyozi over here. So it's something called about the vow of rebellion, right? And I know that sounds very general, but we're going to make it a little bit more specific, and I'm actually going to ask Prim to give you like our context for this vow of rebellion discussion.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching, first of all. So the vow of rebellion is where you vow to never be that. You get, I vow to rebel against something. And I know that lots of us have a lot of healing to do where our parents are concerned, for example. And most vows of rebellion are against our parents. Not most, okay, but some. And you realize that as we grow older, they hinder us in so many ways. So there are people who say that my mom was a single mom and I will never be like her. And there are so many things that come from such statements. There are so many places we end up when we make vows of rebellion. They're not necessarily such a bad thing. You're just rebelling against what you saw. There are people who say that I saw how, the broken marriage I grew up in, I saw the broken home, and I will never have something like that. But I also know that vows of rebellion have led us to a place where we have ended up actually being like these people and making decisions that hurt us. So today's actually context should be, how far will you go to keep your vow of rebellion? Is it staying in a bad marriage because you'll never be a single mom like your mom? I know a friend of mine, I had someone once make a comment like, ogumwana yaremwo shwere nkanyina, like she has failed in marriage like her mother. So I was like, in my heart, I was proud of the person who had actually left a bad marriage. Yeah. But imagine the things that society says. I mean, this is an older woman made such a statement about someone who had left a marriage. So I know that there's so many people who decide that I will not let people talk about me the way they talked about my mother. So for me, I am going to stay here in this violence, in this emotional abuse. I am going to stay through it all. So to what extent are you willing to go to keep your vow of rebellion? Like, I will never, I don't want to be like my cousin so-and-so who, left this job and now they are unemployed and they are suffering, what. So you stay in very toxic, like they keep us in toxic spaces. Mm-hmm. So you ask yourself, like, every day you wake up and choose to vow against either society or vow against your past or whatever. And I've also seen people who say, I'll never be like my dad. I hate that man. He left us when we were young, blah, blah, blah. But the more you hate this person, every day, because you don't check yourself, you're just trying to do the opposite of him. And every day you inch closer.
To being exactly like that.
Oh my God, that's so true. It has made me think of how, anyway, I think that's why forgiveness is so important. It's a difficult thing, but it's so important because when you spend all that time against this thing or person that you vowed, Banange, this one, let's like that example of my father did this, my father did that, and I just hate him so much. When you spend all that time hating, you just become, it's like, I don't know, it's like even with, I don't know, things like racism, for example. That, oh, you know, the white man did this and the white man did that, and you spend all your time hating the white man so much, you become the kind of hate that you don't want to see.
The same way with feminism. Feminism has become now extreme because now people have.
If it becomes
It becomes
it loses
the meaning.
you know?
So if you're constantly, I hate my dad. I can't believe it, and it's kind of easy for you to become.
Yeah. Do you guys have any? I'm thinking, like, have you made any vows like that to yourself in your life?
So my opinion on this, and this is entirely my opinion, is if you say I will never be like that person, first of all, you're judging something that you don't know. It's a very judgmental thing to say.
That's true. You're
because
seeing
you've
it from your
never
interpretation.
been in that person's position. I'm not saying what they did was right. I'm saying you have no idea the circumstances in which they made those decisions or in which they did the things they did. So, no, yes, I would be before I got divorced, I would never get divorced. This side of life, I'm very careful to say what I'll never do. Because no one is immune to life circumstances. Not a single person. Doesn't matter how anointed you feel you are. It does not matter. No one is immune to life. You will make those decisions that you say you'll never make. If you say you'll never do A, B, C, and D, it's because you have the privilege of never having gone through what that person went through in order to make that decision.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have preached a
It's
word.
actually speaking from privilege,
Preached a word, because I guess it just even takes us back to just like how we judge how people make their decisions, because we've never been in those situations. But trying to think of what vows I've made in my life, I think the most immediate, the first thing I can think of is, because I did law. You guys must be tired of this story, how I did law and now I'm a creative, the short version. I always think that if I had kids, I would really, like, my vow is just like to never hold them back professionally from doing the things I love. I obviously understand that my parents, it was a different time. Their idea of success was very different. It was just like a different context. But regardless, what the feelings that I felt and the things that I went through as a result of taking a path I didn't want were very real, like regardless of the intentions. So because of that, like, I have this heavy
never do
of
this
like,
to my kids.
I will never push my child to go and study or pursue or whatever, something that they don't want, or they don't love, or they don't, like, they're not, it's not there. So for me, but that one is, I stick with it. But anyway, who knows? But I feel like that one, I am in it.
For me, I think, now this is, I don't think I want to go so deep into it because I have no right to talk about, my parent is someone's parent, so I have no right to talk about some other person's parent. But for me, there's, you can be a good father, but you can fail to be a good husband. And you can be a good husband and you can fail to be a good father.
Or you can be a good person and fail to be a good husband and father.
Yeah. So for me, one of the questions I've asked myself as I grew older was my dad a good father and a good husband? And one of the things that I remember, like growing up, I told myself, I will not marry my father. I'll not marry a man like my father. I'll not be like my mom and stay through this and that. But I remember, I also realized that along the way, it made me quite toxic. Like, I realized along the way that the more I didn't like certain things about my dad, the more I got dad issues, the more I made sure that I used to stay in a relationship. I would even stay in a relationship for like a month or two. Because my head is like, I need to leave before I'm left. You get? But please don't get me wrong, he was a great father. A great father.
Not a great husband.
Yeah. But you see, I can't say that because I was not married to him.
Yeah.
I was a child to him. So that can't be my interpretation. It's not fair because I wasn't the one married to him. My mom was married to him. So the more I made that vow, I'll never, I don't want to be married to a man like this, but do I want my children to have a father like my father? very well,
Yes.
please. It's the reason I'm very, very, very confident. But for me, I was like, no, I cannot. But then I realized that I got such daddy issues. Like I left so many people before they could leave me. You get. And it took such a long time. Like, one of the things I know about Vows of Rebellion is that it's very important for you to sit down. But we never even realize this mistake. But you sit down, and first of all, you have to forgive this person, and you have to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Forgive them, and then now you can start to forge a way forward. That means that you won't even be harsh on yourself when you make the mistakes that they made. When you say, I didn't want to be like this, oh my God, look, now I've done it. But that has to come from a point of forgiveness, which is not very, very easy for so many people.
I was thinking something very quickly. Now it's gone across my mind, but I mean, it's escaped my mind. But I'm trying to think. A lot of people make they focus so much on that one thing they will never do, and forget all these
other things. Yeah.
You get. So you're so focused on never marrying a man like your father, yeah. And then someone who has a few traits, just a few, comes around, and he's a good guy, and he would make an actually good husband. But you see, all these things you run. Do you get what I mean? Or if, let's say, you don't want to be a single mother, as you said, you stay in a very abusive, toxic, whatever marriage it is, And I feel like if we can balance it out. You can, but don't focus so much on what these people did. Focus on the circumstances. But we never know the circumstances. Usually we never know the circumstances.
That's true.
Allow that we're all human. Allow that you're human. You may or may not go through what your mother went through, what your
father went through, your friend,
not went through. You may or may not. Allow that it may happen to you. And then make decisions on if it does happen.
Yeah.
You get? Yeah. Don't say it will never, because it may.
Oh, it will happen.
Anyway, or it really will. I think there's also, when you're talking about like you need to take time to sit down and like think through things, it made me think of a conversation I had with my best friend recently, and we were saying how like, man, adulting is crazy. We can all agree as a people, adulting is madness. So like sometimes so many things are happening at once that you the time to sit down and get yourself back together, it's like it's not there. Like, I don't even know. And it's not that even you don't want or what, but like genuinely a week can pass and there's so many things you need to sit down and like breathe and take in, and then you just don't have that time. And then I don't know, I think it makes for a lot of, like, we're all around here walking around, but we're walking around some things.
Real ticking bombs.
Carrying things.
Ticking bombs, just loading.
Ticking bombs is the correct way to put it. Like, we are ticking bombs. I think that's why therapy is so important. Like, you will put it in your schedule that this, I mean, unfortunately, it's not the cheapest thing here in Uganda. But man, most places
therapists generally.
Because man, me, if I had money, it's one of my top priorities.
Yeah,
in
I
life.
would do it weekly.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like that, it's there in your schedule, timetable, that you go and you take that time, because life is weird. Sometimes you just don't have the time and you're carrying around, I don't know what.
And yet in that session with a therapist, you get to download all that stuff that is building up. Yes.
The reasons why you made that vow.
Yes.
And is that vow actually serving you? Or it's actually breaking you down? It's making your life more difficult. Because as much as, of course, there are vows that are good things, there are things that you vow to do or not to do that improve your life, that make you a better person. But clearly there's a lot of things that just keep taking us back and taking us back. So I think, I feel like this is not, I don't know which other like specific direction you guys want to take when it comes to like vows of rebellion. But I think the only other thing that I can think of is letting go. Because anyway, we've already said it, like there's a lot of letting go to do, a lot of
release. It's also easier said
than done.
Recently, I was talking to someone about, you know how when people tell you things, I've been very quick to tell people, oh, please forgive them and just move on. But it's okay for you to actually take your time when you're angry.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, I realized that, oh my God, that's you imparting your expectations on other people.
Yeah.
It didn't make them bitter, sad people, what?
Some
But
feelings are
don't
not just that
dismiss
easy
their
to let go
feelings.
of.
Yes.
Actually, you might want to let go of them, but they don't want to let go of you.
It's still that time. They need to
It's a season. Feel
Yeah,
them.
like you can't demand for someone to forgive you.
Yeah.
Ask for forgiveness, put it out there, and then give them the time.
Yeah.
deal.
Give them the time.
Yeah.
But this whole thing of, forgive me, okay, now you do this. You get, now let us just go back to being married. It doesn't work like that. You hurt this person. So I've seen people who, okay, I apologized and then you refused to forgive me, so I also just left. You get. So these people end up being the victims in this.
Yeah, of like, you refused.
You refused to forgive me, and now you're the victim. You're the one who's suffering with the unforgiveness. As in, what's happening?
So for me, the advice I usually give people is, it's hurting you. You get. It's like someone giving you pouring yourself a glass of water, or you planting your own poison ivy and going and saying, it's my poison ivy. Don't take possession of that. I understand people need time to heal and stuff. It's your pain. I get it. I've been there. We're all human. We've understood. But what I'm trying to communicate is, you can let go. You get. You can will to let go and consciously purpose every day. The feeling comes. You say, Claire. You walk yourself through it. You talk yourself through it. You can't just dismiss it. Don't dismiss it. Yeah. Just say, okay, Claire, Fiona did ABC and D. I know it hurt you, but she apologized. And we're forgiving her now. And move on. Move on with your day. Whenever that feeling comes up, just say it again. Say it again. Yeah. You know? And in that moment, you'll start to notice that slowly by slowly, day by day, you're feeling a little...
You feel nothing.
Lighter and lighter. That's what doing the work is. But another thing I wanted to talk about was, you know, most people don't think all of these things are tied into being judgmental. And this is, I think I have a fight. I'm on a fight against judgmentalism. I every single time I realize there's a lot of things I say that you could be like, oh, and then I realize, okay, Claire, you're judging. You guess. Like this morning, we were just talking about something, and I don't remember exactly what it was. I remember thinking to myself, I actually said that out loud. I don't know if you remember, but I said it out loud, and I'm like, Claire, okay, I might be judging. You get. And when I catch myself judging, I stop. You get. I stop myself judging. Again, I'm not perfect. Yeah. Sometimes the judgment goes unnoticed. But usually when I'm on my own, I'd be like, when I'm on my own. But if I'm with someone and like, let's say Prim says, but no, I don't think so. That's when I'll remember that, Claire, you're judging. So I'm very conscious about I am curing myself. I'm on a journey to cure myself and you or from judging, because all judgment does is ruin your life and others. Amen. That's all it does. Because once you're sitting there on your high horse, you can only judge if you're sitting on a high horse. So saying I will never is a form of judgment. It's a form of judgment because you are on a high horse. You feel like you will never go down there.
The privilege.
Exactly. It's a place of privilege. And I'm saying that before you lose that privilege, if you do, stop judging. Like just realize that you've not been in that person's shoes. You're in your own shoes. Your shoes are fine for now, but they might not be tomorrow. And you also want the exact same, you want kindness, not judgment.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? But even for yourself, be kind. Because when you
have
judge
to be kind
yourself,
to yourself,
when you judge others, you're certainly judging yourself.
That's true.
You get? Because when that thing happens to you, do you know how hard it is going to be for you? You get? If you stick on that, I will never get divorced, and then you get divorced, do you know how hard you will judge yourself?
Like I thought I would be perfect.
Oh my God, there's something wrong with me. I am not worthy. All those things come from come from a place of you feeling like people who are divorced are not worthy.
This actually reminded me. Remember earlier we were just talking about like getting an epidural and Hebrew births and stuff, and we're saying how like there's so many people who, just really, and of course it's a valid thing to want to have like a natural birth and as it's called, the Hebrew birth, and that it doesn't, but like you're so tied to it that when you get there and maybe it's not an option for you, that it breaks your heart and it really just like, and that happens to so many people because you vowed, you're like, me, I will not.
I will push my child. Then you also end up really judging other moms who, like, there's that whole thing where society asks, so did you push? You're like, no, C-section. They're like, hey, what is that day? They say such nasty comments.
I've never had that kind of comment. I dare anyone to say
I've
dare anyone to say to me.
I've said to someone, before someone gave birth, they're like, oh, what is that day?
Yeah, they say, even in Kinyarwanda, I doesn't remember, but I remember when my sister also gave birth because she had a C-section. I remember someone, they were on the phone just chatting and someone asked my mom, hey, why did she like I had a C-section? And then it was, the response was something of, she didn't give birth well, a loose translation. And I'm like, huh? But the baby's alive and the mother is alive. But it's a whole thing. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I dare. You say it to me.
But anyway, I mean, I feel like those are our shots on rebellion, on the vow of rebellion, and we definitely want to hear from you guys.
So release yourself from that vow. It is not if you feel like,
I guess explore those vows you've made and what they're actually doing for you or against you.
Are they keeping you stuck in a place you don't want to be?
Is it those things of you're there, everyone in the family is a lawyer, and you're like, also me, also me.
Yeah.
So, but obviously we hope for you guys to like do that work.
Do the work, guys. Remind yourself, pause, remind yourself. Whenever you think about it, if it's negative, pause, think about it. Bring yourself back to the, and just move on. That's how it works. That's how it works.
Share with us some of your vows, if you're comfortable. Share with us some of those vows that you've made, or the ones you've let go of and decided they don't serve you.
Yeah. Or the ones you vowed and broke.
Yeah.
What was your experience? We'd love to hear.
Yeah.
All right.
Subscribe, please. Our relationship now it's serious.
We love you. You love us. Just subscribe.
It's a serious relationship.
Otherwise, we know you don't love us. Bye, guys. See you next time.